The absurd is lucid reason that acknowledges its limits. Albert Camus is often considered one of the emblematic figures of the philosophy of the absurd, a school of thought that explores the paradoxical and bewildering nature of human existence. At the heart of this philosophy lies the idea that our universe lacks inherent meaning or purpose, creating a sense of absurdity in our lives. For Camus, this absurdity is poignantly illustrated through the analogy of Sisyphus, a character from Greek mythology. Sisyphus is condemned by the gods to eternally roll a boulder to the top of a hill, only to see it fall back down invariably before reaching its goal. This endless cycle symbolizes the futility of our efforts and the endless repetition of our actions in a world that seems indifferent to our aspirations. The image of Sisyphus thus represents the human condition, where we face seemingly insurmountable challenges and obstacles, and our actions may appear futile and meaningless. Despite our efforts to find meaning in our existence, we are confronted with a universe that remains indifferent to our quest for meaning. However, even in the recognition of life's absurdity, Camus does not preach despair. On the contrary, he suggests that we can find a certain type of freedom in accepting this absurdity. Camus sees in absurdity a glimmer of hope. He asserts that if life offers no pre-established meaning, that is precisely where our freedom lies. We have the power to create our own meaning, no matter how arbitrary or subjective it may seem. In the absurd, life itself has no meaning, but each individual can give it one. In his reflection, Camus proposes three fundamental attitudes towards the absurdity of life: suicide, faith, and acceptance. He categorically rejects the first, suicide, deducing that it brings no more meaning to death than to life itself. Similarly, he dismisses the path of faith, considering that submitting to dogmatic beliefs amounts to renouncing our capacity to reason for ourselves. For Camus, accepting the absurdity of life is the only viable path. By fully acknowledging this bewildering reality and choosing to face it with courage and lucidity, we can find true value in our existence. In embracing absurdity, we affirm our freedom to create our own meaning and live authentically. This message resonates particularly in our modern era, where we are often overwhelmed by an excess of choices, distractions, and information. In this context, Camus' philosophy offers a compass to navigate the complexity of our world. By accepting life, we can free ourselves from the constraints of uncertainty and anxiety. Albert Camus wrote, "In the depths of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer." There are two fundamental aspects to consider. On one hand, there is the unwavering desire of human beings to seek meaning in their lives, a perpetual quest rooted deep within our nature. Camus often describes this aspiration as the invincible summer, a season of warmth and light where the human soul burns with an intense desire for meaning and understanding. On the other hand, there is the relentless reality that the world itself seems to offer no intrinsic meaning. It's as if we are confronted with the depths of winter, a season of cold and desolation, where the absence of meaning seems to envelop the universe in relentless chill. In this apparent void, individuals often find themselves lost, desperately seeking a point of anchoring in a bewildering world. It is precisely when these two forces, the invincible summer of the desire for meaning and the depths of winter of the lack of meaning, collide that the absurd is formed. In this state of absurdity, individuals may find themselves like entire universes within, isolated in their inner struggle between the desire for meaning and the reality of the world. This poignant image illustrates the depth of the human condition according to Camus, where each individual is faced with their own version of the absurd, navigating through the turbulent waters of existence with only the fragile light of their own consciousness as a guide. Thus, in the philosophy of the absurd, we are invited to contemplate the depths of our own condition, to recognize the duality of our desire for meaning and the often senseless nature of the world around us. Albert urges us to acknowledge absurdity by desperately seeking meaning in external structures of society, in our relationships with others, and even in the events of our daily lives. Instead, he proposes turning our gaze inward, towards our own inner being, towards that core of truth and freedom that resides in each of us. It is by exploring our own thoughts, emotions, and experiences that we can gradually develop an authentic sense of ourselves and the world around us. Albert urges us to acknowledge absurdity by desperately seeking meaning in external structures of society, in our relationships with others, and even in the events of our daily lives. Instead, he proposes turning our gaze inward, towards our own inner being, towards that core of truth and freedom that resides in each of us. It is by exploring our own thoughts, emotions, and experiences that we can gradually develop an authentic sense of ourselves and the world around us. By engaging in this inner quest, we discover our true passions, our deepest desires, and free ourselves from the chains of external illusion that hold us back. Connecting to this inner core, we find a source of strength and resilience that allows us to navigate through life's challenges and trials with courage and determination. This is particularly crucial when faced with extremely difficult moments in our lives, such as traumatic episodes. By staying connected to our inner being, to this invincible summer, we can traverse these trials without losing our essence, without being overwhelmed by despair or disillusionment. Camus tells us, "The consolation of this world is that there is no continuous suffering. A pain disappears, and a joy is reborn. Everything balances out. This world is compensated." The moments of trauma in our lives are tests that we all go through at some point, and they can take different forms and intensities, whether it's the loss of a job, a divorce, or the death of a loved one. These events confront us with the fragility and absurdity of life. When faced with such situations, it is natural to feel a sense of loss of control, loneliness, or uncertainty. In these moments of despair, we fully realize the absurdity of life, the way our plans and aspirations can be swept away by circumstances, often without prior warning. However, it is precisely in these moments of turmoil that an opportunity for rebuilding and giving meaning to our lives also resides. Through these challenges, we have the chance to reconstruct, to find resilience, and to create new narratives that align with the profound understanding of life's unpredictability. In acknowledging the absurdity of life, we open ourselves to the possibility of transforming adversity into a catalyst for growth and self-discovery. By accepting the absurdity of the situation, we are freed from the illusions and expectations that can hold us captive. We then have the opportunity to construct our own interpretation of events, to find meaning and direction from apparent chaos. Camus tells us that despair is the absence of faith in the future. He also states that despair is a form of suicide. Rather than succumbing to the temptation to curse our fate and indulge in self-pity, it is essential to take a step back and find a constructive way to face our suffering. One key to navigating these moments of crisis is to spend more time in solitude, away from external distractions, in order to reflect deeply on our existence. Making peace with the past and accepting that it cannot be changed is an essential first step towards healing and personal growth. Camus tells us that true generosity towards the future lies in the total gift to the present. Albert Camus developed a vision of freedom and action that emphasizes constructive rebellion and the affirmation of life. For Camus, freedom is not merely a state of comfort or satisfaction, but rather a constant state of rebellion against forces that seek to alienate or oppress us. He firmly believed that to truly change the world and live an authentic life, one must be in a perpetual state of rebellion, giving everything in each present moment. To be a rebel, according to Camus, means being aware of one's values and convictions and being ready to actively defend them, even when it involves opposing social norms or established conventions. Camus also rejects the idea that the ends justify the means. To betray one's present self for a future month or a hypothetical cause is a form of dishonoring oneself. By living according to your values in life, by leading a life of integrity, your self-esteem and pride will rise, giving meaning to your life. Camus tells us that the essential thing is to live well, to live fully, to make life last, and not merely to say that life is beautiful. Thank you for watching. See you very soon, and until then, be wise.